for the Lunar cohort of 2024. And that would be Nico Mason, who wrote the story Memento Mori. I am the curator of Moonlight Mawazo, along with Sabrina Wood. I live in New York. And I have been an avid reader all my life and love it. And I wanted to be able to do something about it and have more stories to read. Sabrina, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everybody. I am Sabrina Wood, and I am the co-curator of Moonlight Mawazo. And one of my missions in life is to promote and produce and preserve Black storytelling. And so when Shawana came up with this idea, I said, yes, 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 I would love to help you. And so here we are with our very first inaugural group of people that won Moonlight Mawazo short story contest. So I am so excited for this first roundtable. And so let's introduce our winning author and his illustrator, Nico Mason. Tell everybody about yourself. Wait, we've got another person on here that we need to introduce. Are we going to introduce our behind the scenes person?
Yes.
May.
May?
Come on out.
No, I'm behind the scenes for a reason. Hello, everybody. I am the creator of the website and the social media, as everybody is seeing all those beautiful correspondence that is done by moi. I just happened to meet Shawana actually through a Black girl. What was it? I'm trying to remember.
Networking site.
Networking site, yes, on Facebook. And she asked like to need some help for her short story contest. And I absolutely was like, yes, please. And I have been so blessed to be here with Shawana and Sabrina as we have done this entire contest. And I want to say congratulations to Nico. And also thank you to Lloyd for your illustration. I didn't get a chance to say that the last time we spoke, but without further ado, Nico Mason, please tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Nico. I live in Pennsylvania. I've been writing since I was pretty young, and my specialty is actually horror fiction. I got my bachelor's in English with an emphasis in creative writing, and I was really excited to take part in this competition. It was the first time I've ever been published.
Congrats.
Yay.
That made me so
Congratulations.
happy. Yay.
We love that.
Thank you.
We love that. Lloyd, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Hi, my name is Lloyd Williams. I'm a writer and an artist. I live in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And basically, I've been writing for about, I would say right now, for about 40 years. And also, I've been drawing ever since I was a child. And I basically I got this gig through my sister Sabrina Wood. So yeah, so this is like the first time I've done artwork for another writer.
Oh, so we got a couple of firsts here. This is good.
Yes. This is fantastic. So what we would like to do right now is we want to open it up with a few questions for Nico to tell us about the story Memento Mori and how it evolved from an idea into what it is now. Nico?
Oh, okay. So it started as a daydream at my day job.
Whoa.
I had just randomly thought like it would be really interesting if there was a sort of like almost zombie fiction, but with a twist, like a little bit of sci-fi that was a little more realistic and based off of things that actually occur in nature. And I figured that the best one to do would be a prion disease because like one of the most main examples people usually think of is chronic wasting disease in deer, and they act really strangely and sometimes even aggressively. So I was like, this would be perfect. Let's do a play on that. And there's also a human prion disease that's very similar. So I decided to just combine the two and see where I could go with that. And from there, I spent like 2 weeks just researching prion diseases and the locations because I put the setting as the Appalachian Trail. So I did research on the Appalachian Trail itself. So all the different stopping points. There's actually an interactive map of the Appalachian Trail on their website. So I used that a lot, mostly checking to see where random stops would be so that the stops in the story would be factual to locations as they track their way from Georgia to, it's supposed to be New York. The main goal is supposed to be Fort Montgomery.
Okay. I was very interested to hear why you had picked the Appalachian Trail because I love that part of it. Even though I'm not a hiker, that wasn't it, but it was I love a journey story. Absolutely love a journey story. And that whole idea of them hiking it up this particular well-known trail. She's like, what was it about that that made you want to go to that particular thing? So now I'm hearing this.
Yeah, I grew up in West Virginia, really close to
Ah.
the Appalachian
Ah,
Trail too. So I technically also grew up in Appalachia. So a lot of the folklore and things and a lot of the stories about the Appalachian Trail. And then, of course, there was this one particular episode of Criminal Minds that I watched when I was like 15 about a serial killer on the Appalachian Trail. So I've always been really interested in it as an entity, especially since it's one of the hardest hiking trails in the country.
hey.
Somebody just completed it in record time recently too.
Oh man.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big to do.
Ah. So I take it you don't hike anymore, Nico?
No, no, we moved too far away, and I'm not traveling to hike.
Oh boy. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about the story was the way you describe the characters. You didn't make any character, especially like someone that we want to go in the woods with. I was like, I would have chosen a different party, you know, because I was like, I'm not sure these people gonna survive.
I kind of based it off of random people I've been friends with throughout the years, like some of their personalities and their characteristics, and the fact that I don't think I've ever been friends with a person that I would want to end up in that situation with. I love my friends, all of them, but we would die.
Yeah, this was a party crew. And that's what I loved about it. I mean, they had all just gotten together to chill and relax. They wanted to be at a lake and jump off a rock and swim and hang out. And the next thing they know, it's zombies are coming after them and they gotta make it, 1,000 miles. I just said, yeah, I would die. I would be the one to die. So I love the friendships and the little cliques that were forming among the group. And I love the way you had that in the story so that when things happen to certain people, you knew which character was really going to feel this and react. And I thought you really got that. And as short as the story was, I mean, I got the definite bonds between particular people in the group and, even the animosities between a couple of the people in the group. It was just a little bit, or like, what they were going to do. You were like, oh no, here he go again. And, you're only reading like 5 pages. So I applaud that. I mean, it was a great um, uh, demonstration of character development in a really short amount of time with multiple characters. You had a few characters in there that you had to deal with, not to mention, the various zombies. No, what were their name? They weren't called zombies. They were called Donins,
It was apparently a term. It's called Dwens, if I'm not
Dwens,
mistaken.
Dwens. Okay, okay, all right. It was a
DWENS is how it's pronounced.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I have to concur with what Sabrina said. I love the awkwardness of them getting together, like from college and coming up and being like, well, I came to have a good time, but this isn't quite how I remember our clique. This isn't quite gelling together. And then all of a sudden we're, in a fight for our survival and we have to click. It doesn't matter how awkward we are anymore.
Right. You're dependent. Like this is like look to your left, look to your right. When are you gonna save my life in a minute? So it was great. And okay, that was the thing. I am in a writing class, and my assignment this week, and I'm cheating on my homework right now. I want you guys to give me the answers. So my assignment this week is to write a story or a paragraph about fear, chilling fear, and that gave me fear. The homework assignment gave me fear. I was like, I don't even know how to do this. So I was reading your story, Nico, and I was looking to see how you communicated the fear that they had in the story, and I loved it. I discerned that it was through sound, and it sounds crazy to say that this is a short story. I mean, you're writing this, but your use of sound verbs and sounds was scary. So am I right? I mean, because it was like even the lack of sound, but like there were noises that I was like, oh God, here it comes. So am I right? Was that something that you were thinking like, okay, I'm gonna make this like the scariest sounds they ever heard?
Yes, honestly, I'm a big horror fan. I feel like the audio of a horror film really adds to everything about it. Even if you're just reading the subtitles, if the subtitle itself says squelching, you will know exactly what to think of, how that would feel under your foot if you stepped on it, how it would sound if you touched it with your hands, all the textures and things that would probably involve for a substance to squelch. So I love writing like that. It's especially since for me, like a lot of my autism is based around sounds. Like I like
Oh.
echolalia, like repeating of sounds, and also like I'm very sensitive to sounds. So for me personally, if I was in a situation like that, the sounds of it would probably bother me the most anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, I really picked up on it. I loved your word choices for the sounds, and I love the way you use the dialogue and cut the dialogue. So I just really I love that. Especially since I'm cheating and I'm gonna crib everything from you for my homework. But I know what to do now. Nico told me.
So, Nico, another question. How did you decide what weaponry was going to be used?
Um, I thought of if I had gone to a vacation home or if I was just visiting somebody's house and something went down and I needed to be armed, what are the odds that my average run of the mill friend is going to actually have a stock of weapons in their house? Like, we
You,
might have kitchen knives. Maybe
that's too
somebody
So
close.
you're not
That's
coming to
too
visit
close.
me, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I basically just thought, if my life was on the line and I really needed a weapon, I guess I would pick up the broom. If it's there, it's something. It's better than my bare hands.
Oh man. Yeah, I did enjoy the chair leg.
Yeah, me
And
too.
the pokers.
Ah, the poker stick. Yes. It would have been better if it had been on fire. But that's just me. Don't let me change your vision.
But I thought that scene was great too. I mean that, and I'm saying scene, but that section where they were preparing, they were arming up, and they, they're like looking through this vacation home. Like, I mean, this whole thing has gone so far south, and they're looking at I used to have a vacation home, and everybody always left clothes and things. You always had all these odd pieces of clothes on it, and they were putting on all kinds of stuff and goggles, and I don't know. It was just the scene was real. I mean, I don't know what kind of daydreams you'd be having, Nico, but that was really it was so good because I could relate to, yes, what would I do if I was out here in a vacation home, and even if you think if it's like it's weather, not even zombies coming after you, just like you've got to survive a trek because you got to get out of someplace because it's a fire or weather or earthquake, and you got to get out, and do you have what you need in this vacation home? But people started tearing legs off. They were
I guess
already
they
in the
figured
grips
there
of
was
it.
no rescue coming, right?
Yeah, I figured for some people, there's always the thought if something bad happens, that help will come, but there's always the people who think that it won't. And
Hmm.
they're usually the people who decide, well, if nobody's coming, or if it's really bad, I guess I have to figure out what to do on my own. And sometimes I feel like that's almost the best way to go about it. So I was like, yeah, you know what are the odds that the military knows how to handle zombies on day one of a zombie apocalypse? Probably slim. So let's just handle it.
Well, I've
Don't think
watched a
there's a
lot of zombie
manual.
shows. I feel confident. I've watched a lot of zombie shows,
You
but
need
I'm
to
I feel
put
like
taking
the
none of
civilians
your
would be better
characters with
prepared.
me. None of them, Nico. None.
I think
None.
Elijah maybe. Come on, Elijah was going to get out of there. Did he get out? Yeah, Elijah got
Yes,
out.
yes. Only one
Oops, spoiler.
unfortunate passing. But I mean, come on, you guys. You had to have read it. But yeah. What we have, oh, is this your mother, Nico?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yep, that's my mom.
Hi,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom.
And it looks like Dad too, Sharon and Paul. Yep, that's both my parents.
Hi, Dad.
Thank you for joining us. And we have Tamia here and Teresa. Thank you for joining us, Tamia and Teresa.
Yeah, another writer there, my girl Tamia.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see you all here on our first attempt at a roundtable discussion. We're going to keep these up and we will get better and better at it. I wanted to, Nico, basically let you tell us a bit about the journey when you started the daydream. How long did it take you to actually like complete the story? Was it just like you sat down and you were like, I'm on fire? Or was it like, okay, I'm gonna do 30 minutes a day?
Um, a mixture of both because I was really busy, but it was a passion project. So I think I knocked it out in maybe like 2 weeks.
Okay, all right. And have you done other stories in that same way, in that same manner?
Yes, I have. It tends to happen that way because I'll get the idea, and if the idea sticks around long enough, I'll spend a lot of my free time mulling over details about it and thinking up to some different pieces of it. Like if the research options of a story interest me enough, then I will almost definitely try to put it to paper because I'll get invested in the research of the subject, and getting interested in it even more will make me want to write about it more because I'll start to have my daydreams will start to be, affected by the new details that I have. So the thought of, oh, I want to make this person be bitten by a demon spider. Well, what parts of that do I want to have influence them? Maybe I want to do like the spider aspect, which means I get to research spiders and I'll find something interesting about all the different types of spiders that I like, and then I'll incorporate that because that's what I'm thinking of doing for my most recent piece that I want to start on. I want to incorporate the details about spiders that I find interesting. So I'm going to research things like the diving bell spider and, just stuff like that. Because like the research part of a story can get me hooked on it before even the storyline does. The storyline always tends to come second because I get interested in a topic and I'll get an idea from the topic and then the story will come.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
I like it. I like it. Lloyd, you had mentioned something similar to us a couple of days ago. And we were asking you, Sabrina had asked you, like, how do you normally do it? And you were telling us your process. Could you share that with everybody? Because I thought that was very fascinating.
Well, basically, I read the story. I started to read it. I read it about 4 or 5 times to get like all the characters together, and also to just to put something into the piece, into the painting that I did. And so basically, when I came back to my studio, I had the big white blank piece of paper. And then I thought about the story, and the first thing that shouted out to me was fear. Because like basically whenever I look at a blank piece of paper, I'm frightened because like I don't know what exactly to do. Basically, it's just like a blank piece of paper, and you have to fill it up, and your name is going to be on the piece, and so it has to look good, and this. For this drawing, I had like, I believe, 4 days to get it back to you.
It was
So
a slight emergency, yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
it was like I said. So if you take a look at the main character in the drawing, he has a look of total panic in his face, and that was me as I was doing the artwork because I was panicked. I said, how am I going to get this done? And so the thing that drove me was I said, basically the main character in the drawing, he's like fighting for his life, and he has the baseball bat up, and he's the person who is looking at the drawing. That is the zombie. You're seeing the drawing from the zombie's perspective.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So like the man or the main character in the drawing, he's about to bash your head in,
Ah.
basically.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why he's looking right at you. He's very frightened, and he's about to swing the bat. So,
Oh, okay. I
so
didn't
like,
know it was that perspective.
yeah,
This is
so
the
like
first
for the
time I've thought about it.
yeah, so like for and then I tried to put like, it was supposed to be on a highway. It was like, they were talking about in the Appalachian mountains and stuff like that. So I put it on the highway, and it reminded me the entire story sort of reminded me of scenes from The Walking Dead, because they were always like running from something in a highway, and like there were trees everywhere, and so like I tried to get like a background in it too. So that's why it has a very dark, sort of foreboding background.
I am going to share my screen so that we can see this fabulous piece of art. Let me do that right now. That's what I was doing, finding this fabulous piece of artwork here. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gorgeous. I love how, like, even with the fear, it's just a vibrant painting. I just immediately felt all the energy of it as well. I know there's fear, but that vibrancy really hit me when I saw it.
Well, the background and also the very vivid colors. I don't know if anyone used to do heavy metal. Heavy Metal magazine?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a very famous artist called Robert Corbin,
Mm-hmm.
and he did the Den character. Yeah, and like his backgrounds were very, very bright, vibrant colors and things like that. And so I sort of took the way he did his backgrounds. I put that into the drawing also.
Cool.
Trying to get it all on
I'm
here.
just,
There we go.
Yeah, see that face, and the bat.
And that face was sort of inspired by the famous painting, The Scream.
Yes.
Yes.
It's sort
We
of,
do know that.
yeah. It's just like basically he's panicked. He's very panicked, and like he's like fighting for his life, and he's swinging the bat in his blood, and like the person behind him with the goggles, he or she has blood on the goggles and everything. So they're just like freaking out, trying to get to
Past these
book.
things.
Oh yeah, look at the
See
blood on
the
the
chair
goggles.
leg and the pokers.
Oh yeah, and we getting back here now. We didn't go from the baseball bat to the poker and the cheer leg. I like that
Like a
right
chair
there.
leg. Whatever was in that vacation house, boy.
And then
Well,
there's always the moon too, because it's not a blood moon, but I wanted to put the moon in there because the moon always affects people's it's sort of like a symbol of danger sometimes. Like
Something going down.
yeah.
when it starts to get dark, you start to get worried.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And then
And that was part of the story, right? It's like
Yeah.
they were safe during the day, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it started getting dark. That's when the things came out. Oh my God. Okay, I was done with that part. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, and when they had
I'm a
to go up
scaredy
in the
cat.
trees, when they had to go up in the trees and they were hiding in the trees and everything.
Yes. I was like, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen so that I can go back to seeing everybody's beautiful faces. So I was like, I don't know if I could climb those trees like that.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. What was it, Chris? It was Chris. She was like, she couldn't climb the tree. One of them couldn't climb the tree. Was having trouble. I was like, I so feel this.
And
So
I was
maybe
like,
that's
I don't know
another
if I can
way.
get down.
Right.
Now, how many made it to the end? There were 5 in the beginning, right? And
Yeah.
3 made it to the end.
Three
3.
made
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Oh, who did
then-
I forget?
Then the scene with the mother when
Oh, that
they
was
found the mother.
Yes.
Because I was thinking of doing that in the drawing, but I said no, I can't. I couldn't put no. Because that was too
that
not
was sad.
gruesome, but it's just like no, I didn't want to do that because I like to have a happy ending, but I said that's not a happy ending. So I said no. So
Wow. Nico, my question is, why bring in that scene with the mother? Because they're halfway through the journey as we go along. I did not expect them to have this kind of way station stop, and all of a sudden it's his mom.
Right.
So what prompted you to do that? Because it didn't seem like it was a progression we would have, but it also kind of brought us back down because we had just gone through that journey of being in the woods and we were all like this. So what was the impetus to do that?
Well, it was a slight nod to sort of where I'm from, because I'm from near Harpers Ferry, and they stopped in Harpers Ferry. So I've been there several times. And so I had a pretty good idea of like the town itself. So it was easier for me to kind of picture where it would be. And I figured if you were traveling with a group of people in the middle of a crisis and somebody remembered that you were near someone's house, no matter the relationship you had with whoever was there, you would probably still try to stop because it would be safer than being outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
And so I also figured, because the story is in the end, I chose the name Memento Mori because it's a reminder of death. And so
I was gonna
there's
ask you about that
see.
title because
yeah.
I love titles. Memento Mori. Remember that you will die.
Oh, yeah, that was chilling. I was like, and I was kind of relieved when when I was reading it, because I saw the title, and then when I was reading it, I was a little relieved that it wasn't as disastrous as the title seemed to give me that premonition of. I was like, okay, it's only 2 down.
And yeah, and they got to New York and it was like, all right, everything. I think everything is cool in New York.
In my mind, I made it cool. Okay, in
I,
my mind.
I almost had a feeling of like an Underground Railroad kind of thing, like they were trying to get out of the South and they were making it up, and they finally get, to the northern border. They were trying to go north, like that. And then there's Nico like doing an Underground Railroad thing here with the zombies. So what is this? What is this? Is this some allegory you
A
want me
little
to?
bit of a nod to that.
What?
Because there was a little bit of a nod to trying to get out of the South for that
Yeah,
reason. One of the reasons why they made the joke about you're not leaving me in the South.
right. Yeah, you're right. That was it. There was a couple of times that they were like, oh no, not down here. I loved it.
Oh my
Loved it.
goodness. Uh, Sabrina, did you have another question for
Yes,
Nico
I
or Lloyd?
did. So the whole, okay, I love stories where we don't really know what the heck started the whole mess, but you told us what started the whole mess. So I want to go back to the very first scene because when I was reading this, I was, I said, okay, we got a couple of people on vacation and they're just being like the ugly Americans in this Caribbean country, and then the funeral scene, and I'm like, where is this story going? This is so wild. So where did that come from in your daydream?
Um, so one, it came from partially the movie Outbreak with what is his name? Dennis Hopper.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
that movie. I saw it as a kid, and the scene where he gets on the plane and he meets up with his girlfriend, and she's so excited to see him, she kisses him, and he's dripping in sweat. He's flushed red with a fever. He's standing there just because he's so sick. And the way that it just starts this entire outbreak for the town just made me think about how that would have affected, how it would have worked back then, but it would have been even worse now because
Mm.
so many people have to be on planes. We have places to go, we have family to visit, we have countries to leave and go in and out of. And a person showing up at an airport would probably be able to infect several people who would go to several different places because somebody's going to Tucson, somebody else is going to New York City, there's somebody else who's going to Hong Kong. So hypothetically speaking, the disease is already in another country because we don't actually know where everybody on all the planes went that were affected, but he would have spread it in a way that would probably affect a large swath of people, kind of like how if you sneeze, the spray of it can, go up a
Yep.
dozen people's noses if they're sitting in the same room. It'd be the same if somebody just
Don't have me think about that.
projectile vomiting all over a bunch of people at an airport. Everybody who was touched was to be infected. And there's possibilities even people who were nearby might have been infected too.
but the thing that got me was that the incident almost seemed like it was on purpose. Like the guy that was getting all the grief from the couple, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you someplace. You want a real experience?" Like, the line that got me was, these Americans wanted to go where they should not have been, where they didn't belong. They wanted to see where they didn't belong, and so he takes them to the funeral, and then they give them this meat, and I'm like, "Whoa, what? What is going on here? What was that about? What am I?"
Yes, please.
It was based off of, and I can't remember the life of me right now. There is a group who they're used to partake in a form of like ritualistic cannibalism, and you'd be eating a part of the brain, and it's banned in the country that it's in now, which is New Guinea, not if I'm not mistaken, and it's banned due to the fact that it can pass on prion diseases.
Okay, so I thought so. I said, is this cannibalism? Okay, that's what I wanted you
Yeah.
to tell me. Because I was
Yes.
like, ay.
Okay. All right.
And of course,
All
you're two
right.
dumb tourists. They don't know, and everybody else is looking at them like, what are you doing? We're not supposed to don't put that in your mouth. And they don't know the language because they're just tourists, so no one can tell them not to. And they don't
I know
listen.
they all
They're
just
not
looked at
supposed
him
to be
like,
there.
these Americans are just too stupid. Oh God,
It
Nico.
just so happens that was the one time somebody caught something.
But also too, honestly, I would have been like, I'm not eating that. I don't know you like that. So I'm like, I was also like, okay, I know that we're Americans and we're visitors, but they, people seem to be giving them signals and they're just not accepting it. But I also
They
thought
wanted
that
an
cab
adventure.
driver was like, okay. I thought he was naughty. I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, he's gonna give him something new, But I also was like, oh, he's in a payback.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
kind
think
of
he
thinking
meant
it's like
it.
that thing where you tell somebody, yeah, the pool is on the 7th floor, just to watch them be stupid and go to the 7th floor that doesn't exist in the hotel you're in. He just wants to, show them up, make them do something stupid because he's mad that they're being mean. It just so happens it just was worse than that.
Okay, that was the thing. I wanted to know if he had intended to infect them with this disease or if he just was messing with them. Okay, yeah, I got it. It wasn't like he wanted to infect the entire eastern seaboard. He just wanted to get these two people.
Yeah, he just wanted to scare them, but they went all the way.
Right. Oh my
Mm.
God.
I based them off of stereotypical American tourists because
You nailed
apparently
that.
American tourists have a very bad reputation of being very disrespectful and very blasé about rules and the cultures of the places they go to. So I wrote them based almost completely on stereotype, which I usually don't do, but it seemed like the only way to depict a person who would be stupid enough to go to another country and have no idea what they were doing and bring back a disease.
Yes, I definitely can
Well,
see some of that for some people. Hmm.
I have a quick story because I was in India traveling with a group of Americans, and we went to this hotel, and we're in India where cows are sacred and they walk down the street. And the men in my group wanted a steak dinner, and I just looked at them
Oh,
like, I don't think this is
mm.
the place that you. And they were insistent. They were so excited that steak was on the menu. I was like, give me chicken, give me
Oh,
lamb, give me something else. Every single one of the guys that ate the steak got deathly ill.
Oh no.
oh.
Like, how stupid can you be? Like, asking these people for a steak. It's the one cow that's no good that died. Oh my God. Anyway, yes, Nico, true. I related to that.
I'm going to ask if any of the people that are nice enough to grace us with their presence would like to ask a question either of Nico or Lloyd.
Sure, I'll ask a question. Hi,
Yay.
Nico, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So my question is about like your revision process. Like, what does your revision process look like? Like, did you have to do a lot of revisions, or are you one of these writers who's just like bam, it's done. Like maybe touch up a little bit here, touch up a little bit there. Are you doing like group critique or are you self-revising? What does that look like for you?
Um, it's usually self-revision because one of the things I specialized when I was going through college was technical writing and editing. So when I finish my stories, I always go back through from the beginning and read them line for line to check to make sure everything's grammatical, make sure everything makes sense, take out anything that's too wordy, add in things that I feel could be more descriptive, or like change a word around if I feel like I could make it a little nastier than it already was. I usually try to write all of it out. So usually like I'll write in big chunks. I'll write for a few hours at a time whenever I do. So it'll be like 4 pages at a time. And then I'll read the 4 pages and make sure I like how they sound. Because as much as I'm supposed to write for my reader, I kind of write for myself. If I like it, then it's good enough for me.
That makes so much sense to me.
Did anyone else want to jump in here?
I have a question for Lloyd, because, ripping off what Tamia just asked. So when you start the drawing, do you start with a sketch, or do you just like, take the acrylics and just start, like you have it in your head and just put it on this canvas, or do you
No,
sketch it out?
I start with a underdrawing, like a pencil underdrawing. So it's like charcoal pencil.
Okay.
And then I put the color in. Usually I start the color with colored pencils. And then
Oh,
then I get the acrylic paint, and that's the background. I do the background in acrylic paint. And then I go back over it. I go back over the entire drawing. Like I do it over again, and I put more detail in, like the eye color, and then I put in like if you take a look at the main character there, he has wrinkles in his face and stuff. So
right.
I go back and I put that in with the ink pen.
Oh, so
So
it's definitely a different.
So
yeah.
you're like multimedia when you're doing all this.
Oh
You're
yeah,
just all sorts of different textures when you
yeah.
are.
And
Okay.
once I start, I have to I just keep going, because I think I started the painting early in the morning, and I was working on it all day, and I wound up, I was still working on it like around 3 a.m. And that's when I put the sky in the background and everything. And then basically you have to walk away. There's sometimes you want to add more.
Oh,
You never sort of know when the painting's finished or when the drawing's finished, but you have to say to yourself, "It's okay, that's enough. Just leave it alone.
because
Walk
you don't
away. It's
have the
done.
end.
Done." Because whenever I look at my drawings, I could have maybe put more, red here or yellow there, or I could have, moved the main character over and put more detail in. But you have to walk away from it, and it comes in your head that it's like, okay, that's it. That's the drawing's finished. So, and basically, you sort of know that, like I said, with this drawing, it was basically fear was what the drawing was trying to convey. And so when I finally looked at the drawing, I said, do they look like they're frightened? Do they look like they're terrorized? Do they look like they're... And that's when I said, okay, it's done. Because I thought that from their facial features, that there was like a lot of like fear in their faces and stuff. So I said, okay, that's the end of the drawing, and just like send it off, take a picture of it, send it off, and see what they say.
Okay, so
Well,
did you
we
talk to
enjoyed
Nico?
it.
Pardon?
Did you talk to Nico while you were doing this?
No.
Okay.
I did not have time to.
Oh, well, true.
Yeah, because like I said, there's a spot I live up in Cambridge, and so there's a spot on the Charles River. I meditate over there. So that's where I read the story. I read the story early in the morning, and then I came back to my studio, and I had like sort of, I took notes when I was like reading. I read the story about 3 or 4 times, and I took notes of all the characters and stuff, like what they look like, hair color, body shape and all that sort of stuff. And then I came back to the studio, and I had that big white piece of paper, and I said, okay, you gotta put something on here. So it was some pieces are very difficult to do, but this piece was even though it took, I worked on it all day, it was very easy to do because basically that fear was what I wanted to get on the drawing. And so as long as I got that fear into the drawing some kind of way, it was very easy to do because I was frightened. Like I said, I was frightened as I was doing the whole thing. I said, now, does he look, scared enough? And is there like enough like goriness, like blood in there? And like, should I put more blood in? Is that too bloody? So,
Well, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't want it to be like really, really gruesome because just to get like a concept of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't want it to be that gory.
We were talking
But
about
I could
that.
tell they had been through something though. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
like, yes, there was fear, but I was looking at them and I was like, I saw that painting and I was like, they'd have been through something.
I think Nico's characterizations were so strong that it made it easy for you to pick out the things you wanted to put
Yeah.
on the canvas
Yeah.
because you drew the characters so well, I thought. And I'm amazed again at in a short story to get all that development. If I was filming this, I would know who I was going to cast. So kudos to you both.
Yes, I enjoyed the story, Nico. But Lloyd, I must say you were a rock star when we asked you to do this at the absolute last minute. For those of you who do not know, this is the first year of Moonlight Mawazo. So we had concepts of what should happen and how we wanted it to happen. This was the first time we've ever done anything like this. And when I say we, I mean me and Sabrina and May. So I had just read a lot because when in doubt, read, it will show you. So I spent like a year just like trying to plan it, figure out what to do, reading about how people do competitions and how contests go. And I don't write. I do poetry occasionally, but it's only for me to see. So, but I enjoy like entering the world of a writer. And in my mind, I get to picture all the illusions and all the grit and all the dirt. And when Nico referenced that episode of Criminal Minds and Appalachian Trail, I know exactly what episode he's talking about because I watch Criminal Minds religiously. And like that vividness, because I had seen it there when we were on the trail, I could see it there too. And because I go to the easy trails, like I'll go to Bear Mountain and I just spend 2 hours and then I'm going to a hotel. I don't want to go to Appalachian Trail. I'm like, that's for other people, not me. So that kind of that was so real to me, so visceral, because I'm like, I would not want to be out there that long. I would be like, I don't understand. We're going to find an abandoned hotel and we're just going to stock up here and I'm going to get us let's go see what they got in the kitchen and we're going to ration it out. This is going to have to pass. I would not have
There's
been
more
on the
mess
trail.
going on in hotels and horror movies than any other place. Why are we going to go to a hotel? No, dates.
Did I mention how I only hike the easy trails?
Yeah, you did.
The zombie meeting got me. I'm slow.
So Nico, how did you hear about Moonlight Mawazo? How did you find us?
I actually had a friend that had gone to a convention that you guys were at, and you had given her one of the bookmark pamphlets. And she came home and she was like, I heard about the competition and I know you've been writing and I think you should try. And I was like, well, sure, there's no way I'll win. I'll just write something and I'll submit it. And here we are.
Cool. Cool. Oh, I love that. I love that because you came when we were at what was it, shore leave, and we met you there, and we had a table in the vendors room, the pro room. They were so nice to give us a table, even though we didn't have the book yet. But we were there with all the other authors, and Nico came with the crew to see the poster and meet everybody and meet David Ward and David Gerald and meet all these other people. It was a great night, and I'm so happy that somebody shared that bookmark with you. That makes us very happy. So friends, pass the bookmark around to people that that write, because they may just enter and win.
Yes. I was amazed at all the quality of stories that we received this year. So Nico, you did it. You did it. It wasn't you published. It was thought to be great by all the readers. And I will tell you that Sabrina, May, nor I got to vote on anything. It was decided by our readers and ambassadors who who read each and every story. The only way we would step in is if something could not be decided. But honestly, the three of you who are the Lunar cohort came out, heads above the rest. But we also you had stiff competition, I will say.
Ooh.
So be proud.
Some of the competition is sitting in the room.
Yes, and it was stiff.
It was. It was. I was like,
I am really proud.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of great stuff. In fact, I'm just gonna say this right out because my girl is right here. Your story, I still say we are making a short film out of that story. I don't care. This is gonna happen, sis. No, that's gonna happen. You think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? I'm gonna sit there and break it down into
She's not
scenes.
lying. It'll happen. It'll happen. And I was a little more rigorous because we've had conversations before, Tamia. And so I read it, even though I didn't get to, put my 2 cents in.
Yeah, we couldn't
I
vote.
read it and I was like, I feel like this is hers. Because like once we assigned them, we never looked at them again with the names on them.
Right.
Right.
Blind
So,
reading.
but I because I had spoken with you and we've had conversations about certain things, spirituality or whatever, and I was like, ooh, this might. So because it was, and you kept going through the process and kind of getting up there close, I was like, I'm gonna have to have a lot of other people read this just to make sure we're being right. So you also should be equally proud because yours got many reads.
Yes, yes. And an option from a producer.
So yeah, so I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight and being part of the conversation, and we hope to do more of these. We want to encourage writers of all colors, ethnicities, religions to be able to put themselves into the picture and to know that even though we are evolving and we get to see more of ourselves on the screen, we get to see more of ourselves on the page, it's not enough. We make up what 75% of the world in mixed race people of all colors and genders and non-genders and binary and neurodivergent. Everybody has their place, and we want to continue to encourage to put everyone in the stories because, as we all know, representation matters, and if we don't see it, then we can't be it. And we want to make sure, even if it's science fiction or horror, even if we get to be in those situations where we're like, oh my God, I would never do that, or oh my, I'm out in space, I don't think so. But it's the possibilities of the imagination that I think we should encourage and always want to be a part of.
Yeah, and I just have to say that just a quick follow-up. I'm so proud of all of you who put your first illustrations, first submission. I want you to keep going. Both of you writers that are here, or three of you are writers here. And I mean, I have read all works of the three of you, and I applaud you. I'm so proud of all of you. And I love the juice that flows when we're talking about this stuff. I just get so high on life. This is like what I'm living for. So thank you for entering. Thank you for being here tonight. And that's all I got.
May, you with us? I think she might have had to step out. I know she's toggling. She's doing several things.
You got mom and dad are you asking a question, mom and dad?
We're proud of you, Nico.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Yes, you got a big old happy smile on your face.
You too.
Love you.
Oh, that made my night.
Yay! Thank you guys again. And I look forward to seeing you at our next talk, which I hope we will be able to do live. But we are going to keep this, we're recording it, and we will be showing it on our Facebook and on our website. And please do tell people about us because we're gearing up for the next year. It's bound to be exciting. Thanks,
And if-
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.